Okay, so we are mixing and pouring, and that skull I just picked up, the skull part of it, skull cap part of it, has a flower, a resin flower in there, and it's pink. And so I use mica, around the rest of it. And what I did was I used it a little bit darker, like around where the cheekbones would be, kind of make it look like there's makeup on it. So we'll see how that turns out. Here I'm mixing up my crushed crystal in here. And that's my go-to. I like a little shimmer. And I believe the first thing I'm going to do is to complete the base of that skull. Yes, that's what I'm going to do. And what I would have left the original video, however, my Kindle book was playing in the background, and I do not want to get any kind of copyright, plagiarism, any kind of that going on, because I would not be doing that intentionally. So I did catch that, and I got rid of that original audio. And that's how come you've got me right now talking to you. Alright, we got the skull topped off. I'm just going to go around the edge there. Now, this baby, I've done, you can see there's a gold one and a pink one up there. I've done it twice now. And twice, no matter what I do, the facial area is just not very clear. Sorry about that. I probably should just go take a nap, right? But anyhow, and I really work at trying to make it clearer each time. But the truth is, the mold isn't clear. The mold is not a smooth baby skin. It's got some kind of texture to it, and it makes it look almost rough. So, I'm trying it again. This time I'm just going to use this resin here, because obviously I don't know what I'd do with the mold anyway, but it is a challenge for me to make sure I can pour that mold and it look like it should. So far, that hasn't happened, and I don't believe it's by fault of me. I think I'm expecting more from the mold than it can give. Does that make sense? Now, what you're seeing me do here is I got me one of the little cups, and I poured resin in there, and I'm going to pour or put just some of that addiction that I have with the crushed glass or crushed crystal in there, just a little bit for that cup. We're going to get it mixed up here. And I just love it. It is so pretty. And it's such lightweight that it does not sink. It stays suspended where it's supposed to.
I went crazy over you. I went crazy over you. Feels wrong, but it's right. Blacked out, no nightlight. Pink
that was just a brief intermittent while I mixed up the crushed crystal, and I set it over there to wait some time before I put a top coat to that book top, or that top of that box. So here I am trying to get the hearts ready, and I am going to do something a little different this evening, and I'm going to use one of my dried roses, and those are roses that I purchased, and they used to sit in the middle of my dining room table, and then I dried them. I'm trying to find one that'll go down in, deep, so that I don't have that much to have to sand off the back whenever it's completed. And it looks like I found that one, so it's pretty awesome. I'm going to grab a cup, and I'm going to soak that flower in resin. I want it to soak down in between the petals. I want it to saturate that dried rose. I want to try to prevent as many bubbles as possible when we finally put it into that heart. Here we are. I'm showing you the other flowers that I dried. I try to keep flowers and dry them so that I'll have random flowers available. And I'm going to pour some resin in first. And I am using magic resin for anybody that's wondering. It's just a 1-to-1 ratio. And I'm trying to find something to kind of move that flower down into the resin. There we go. I found it. There we go. Because I want to be gentle with it. But these flowers have been dried for probably 6-7 months at least. I want that flower to get saturated. Spraying. There was bubbles coming up in that resin over there, and I'm just spraying. All right, so what am I doing? I'm getting out the moss. I was just looking over my shelf with all my stuff that I have, and I was like, what can I do that's a little bit different? And I'm like, yes, the dark green moss. And so, watch what I do. I'm in love with the finished product, which I unmolded this morning, but I will post this before I post that. So, you know that if you're watching this, there will be a follow-up video with the unmolding. So I'm putting the green moss down in there and kind of pushing it down, which pushes the flower down, the dried flower down into the resin. And I want to try to make the whole background the moss. Now I want to pour resin over that moss. I want it to saturate the moss and meet up with the resin that's already in there. Now, the one thing I did find this morning while you're watching me do this is I found that before I went to unmold these, there were some indentations where the resin had settled down in there. And of course the moss was completely saturated. It had soaked it up, but there were some little divots in that. So I went back through before I unmolded them this morning, and I didn't video it, which I should have, but I took my UV resin and I filled those in and took care of those before I actually unmolded it. But we just want to make sure this moss is saturated. And I am going to just kick some music on because just kind of fast forward the rest of these flowers because you can see what I'm doing with them. Enjoy. because I have that container of my dried flowers, and I've just been taking the petals off of the flowers and just kind of packing them in around that one flower. So we got the 3 larger hearts done, and we're going to do the smaller heart. Now this heart, what we're going to do is add a little bit of glitter. Now that was a very fine purple. That was a very fine silver. That's a very fine red. And this is a chunky black. It's actually a mix. We're going to stir that up, and you will see in the unmolding video that this heart turned out stunning. And what I've been asking people is, if you were buying them, would you want them made into a small magnet, or would you want it made into a keychain, or if there's something else you'd like done with those hearts? Now, this here, remember I mixed up that resin with the crushed crystal in it. I had previously taped and used the Peel Tech along the edges of this cover here, this box cover, which looks like the top of a book cover. So I'm just trying to dome up or put a coat over the washi tape that I'd put on there. In order to make it right, I had to tape and do all that with it. And plus I was fixing a little blemish over there at the same time. And as you will see in the next video, that this book cover turned out so cute. I just love how it turned out.